Hey guys, so I am back, and let me tell you, it has been a crazy past few weeks. So, as you know, my dad and my stepmom came in, which was so great to see them, and very, very hard to say goodbye. Oh my God, when I dropped them off at the airport, I was in tears. Like, I was a mess. So then, come home, try to get back to everyday life, and that, as you know, is always challenging. I know I like saying that word a lot, but it's true. So the past week has been insane. My daughter, June, gave me almost a heart attack on Thursday when I came home from work. My husband put them down for their nap and then he went to go lay down so he can get some sleep before he had to go to shift. And when I came home, my house was ransacked. It looked like somebody broke in. I'm freaking out. I'm on the phone with their godmom in Pennsylvania. And keep in mind, we're in Vegas, so there's a 3 hour time change. So I'm on the phone with her, talking to her, just shooting the breeze. And I'm like, my house looks like somebody broke in. And I look down the hallway and I see that the kids' bedroom door is open, which was so bizarre because we always shut it when we put them down for a nap. So I go in and I see their room is completely demolished as well. And I see a random cell phone in the middle of the floor. And now I'm thinking, okay, did my husband leave his cell phone in their room? Which is odd because that's his alarm to get for work. So I grab the cell phone. And again, I'm on the phone with Holly because I'm just in complete shock. And I look over and I see my daughter Cora in her crib. And I see June's crib has a pile of blankets. And I'm like, okay, what is going on? So I moved the blankets because I'm thinking something happened to my child, and she's not in her crib. And I freaked out. I was like, where the blank is my kid? And I'm on the phone with Holly. She heard the panic in my voice. And right as I was about to hang up and call 911, I look over past my son's crib and I see June passed out on the floor with the blanket wrapped around her chest, using it as a little pillow, and she is passed out. The whole time Cora is freaking out because June's not next to her. So I pick June up, put June in her crib, and of course she wakes up. Within 5 minutes though, they're both out. So I'm assuming my daughter Cora did not nap until June got back in her crib, which does not surprise me either. So I go upstairs and I wake my husband up. I said, "Is this your cell phone?" He said, "That's my old cell phone. It was in the office. Where was it?" I said, "It was in the kids' room on the floor." I said, "Did you put both the girls in their cribs?" Even though I know he did, I just needed the confirmation. He's like, "Yes." I'm like, "Did you close their door?" He said, "Yes." "Why? What is going on?" And I said, "Well, I came home. June's not in her crib. She was passed out on the floor. Our house looks like someone broke in." I'm like, the kitchen's destroyed, the living room's destroyed, their bedroom's destroyed. And I checked the office. Office isn't even touched. So I don't know how she even got their cell phone. So then, after my heart attack ended and they fell asleep, I could actually breathe. And the next day, and obviously I put my son from preschool a little bit later on that afternoon, but the next day, it was my day off. I took my son into school. I had to go to work for a little bit, do a couple things. And then I came back home, did some stuff around the house with the kids with the girls. And then I went to go pick up JP from school. Well, he's in a brand new outfit, no surprise there. And I go and I'm like, what happened to his outfit? And they said, "Oh, he was playing in the sink with the water again." I'm like, "Oh yeah, no surprise. Okay." I'm like, "Is his shirt in his room? Is it in his bag?" They said, "No, it's hanging up to dry." I'm like, "Okay, great." So I'll pick it up on my way out. So then they also tell me, "Oh, by the way, your son also pulled the fire alarm." I was like, "What?" So I go and I talk to the director and I was like, "Is it true? Did my son really pull the fire alarm?" And she's like, "Yeah, he did." I'm like, "Oh my God." And I started crying because it was just a very long week. And obviously I didn't want to get hit with that fine. So I asked her, I said, "How much is this fine going to cost us?" And she said, "There's no fine. The fire department didn't have to come. He's a very smart kid. If anything, we just learned stuff from him, et cetera, et cetera." So I'm upset. They're telling me not to worry. Don't freak out. This is why we didn't want to tell you because of this reaction. He's not in trouble. You're not in trouble. It's not that big of an issue. I'm like, he pulled the fire alarm. What do you mean it's not that big of an issue? So I leave. I call my stepmom because she likes to get updates as to, how he's doing in school. And she's laughing. So I'm like, oh, great. So I'm like, I wonder what Darius's reaction is going to be when I get home and tell him what happened. So I come home, I tell him, he's laughing. So everybody thinks this is funny except for me. I'm like, really? You think this is funny that he pulled the fire alarm? And they said, yeah. And even the director was laughing. She was like, look, we've all wanted to do it. It's a red, shiny thing. Who doesn't want to go and pull it? I said, I get that. Growing up, I wanted to pull it, but I knew better. I was told not to pull it. I never thought I had to have this conversation with my son at 2 years old to not pull the fire alarm. But apparently, we have to. So we go, so Darius drops him off today, and apparently they had a conversation about not pulling the fire alarm today. So when I go pick him up here in about an hour, I'll find out if he pulled the fire alarm and what happened. So this is going into the other segments of the video blog that I'm desperately trying to get back on track to. But the reason we have him in preschool is because, as I mentioned previously, he regressed a lot. He was talking, he was having dry diapers all night long, so we were going to start trying to potty train him. And yeah, I know he was really young. He was only 11 months old when the twins were born, but the doctor was like, you know what, since he's already dry, try it. He's been advanced ever since he was born, and he's very, very smart, so he was catching on to stuff very quickly and above where he actually was. So we were trying it, and now that the twins were born, when the twins came home from the NICU, he started wetting his diaper at night again. He stopped talking. He started drinking breast milk again, which was, he hasn't nursed since he was 8 weeks old, and he never wanted breast milk. Even the little bit that I did have, and I tried to give it to him, he had no interest in it. So, but then when the twins came home, now all of a sudden he wants breast milk again. He wants to try nursing again. He regressed being back to a baby. So now that he's 2.5, almost 3, and he's still not talking again, no matter how hard we try, we decided maybe putting him in preschool would be a good thing, because then he can find his own identity, find out who he is, away from the twins, where he's not lumped together with the twins, and he can be around kids his own age and see if maybe being around them he'll start talking again, start potty training, which has been a huge challenge for me to try to do with him. It's no success at all. And I don't feel as bad anymore because the daycare center is having a hard time getting him to potty train too. So it's just a work, trying to get him to actually do it. So we put him in there hoping that this would put him back to where he needs to be talking wise and stuff like that, since he is going to be starting, pre-kindergarten in the next 1.5 years, 2 years kind of situation. And obviously we need him talking before then, because I don't want him getting held back because of how smart he is. I know it'll do more harm than good in this situation. So we worked everything out and got him in there 3 days a week for right now. Hopefully we'll be able to get him in 5 full days a week. Hopefully that will help him a little bit more. But that's where we're struggling right now, is with him trying to get him to talk again and be back on the age level that he is in regards to everything, talking, potty training, name it, eating with a spoon, which is still a challenge. Oh my God. But one day at a time. So, yeah. So it's just been a very interesting 1.5 weeks since my dad and my stepmom have left to go back to Colorado. So do I miss them? Yeah, I do. So, but hopefully with him being in school, that will help, and he'll be able to find his own identity. It's tough. And that also leads into the twins, is when do I start, which is a battle I'm struggling with. So if you have twins, I'm sure you guys know the struggle, is when do we separate them for them to find out who they are on their own and not always be together. Because as you know, twins have that twin bond, and it is very, very, very real. And it's just very challenging to decide when is it the right time to have them in maybe separate pre-K classes or kindergarten classes, or do we wait until they're old enough to verbalize, hey, I want to be by myself, I don't want June or Cora in my class. Like when do we start to make that separation so they can find out who they are? Because I've heard a lot of stories that twins have a hard time finding out who they truly are by themselves, and they're always lumped together as well. So obviously I don't want them having identity issues, which is obviously what my son is going through right now. And I don't need all three of them having that same issue going on. So that's the new struggle that I'm dealing with, is the identity with my son, him knowing who he is, getting him where he needs to be. No matter how much one-on-one attention I try to give him, I know it's not enough. And same thing with the twins. When do we start to separate them? When do we start trying to find out what their individual personalities are away from each other? When right now, God forbid I separate them, it is World War III. So I know right now is not the best time to do it. But the question is, when is it? So that's the latest struggle. But I have to go. But I just wanted to check in with you guys and just put another entry in for you to watch and hopefully have a good laugh over the fire alarm being pulled, because apparently everyone else is laughing but me. And so subscribe below, and I will definitely be in touch with you guys soon. Take care. Bye.